In this chapter, we're going to focus on water, but it's going to be a lot different than when we focused on streams and groundwater. In this chapter, we're going to talk about all of the water in our atmosphere, the water inside of our clouds, and the different forms of precipitation that can happen. But we're going to start off in this video talking about how water changes state. And when we're talking about water changing state, it's going from three different types or three different states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. So in order to change water from one state to another, we either need to be releasing heat energy or absorbing heat energy. Some of these changes of state you are very well aware of, things like melting and freezing. These are the two most obvious changes in water states. When we're looking at melting, we're going from solid water and it's melting into liquid water. Here we're going to be adding heat to the solid. We're heating up the solid, changing it into a liquid. But the exact opposite happens when we are freezing water. Now we're taking liquid water and changing it into a solid state. In order to go from a liquid to a solid, we will need to release the heat. We have two other processes that can change water between liquid states and gaseous states. And the first is evaporation. The top image is showing us a boiling pot of water where the water is evaporating out into a liquid above it. This happens whenever our liquid water is changed to a gaseous form of water by adding heat to it. But on the opposite end, we can have water vapor changing into a liquid. And this is called condensation, and we can frequently see it when we drink cold beverages. Here, the water vapor, a gas in our air, is changing into a liquid along the side of this bottle. And it's doing so by releasing energy from that water as it's changing from a gas to a liquid. Our final two processes are kind of weird though, and they might not make a whole lot of sense at first. But one is called sublimation, and our last one is called deposition. And both of these refer to water changing between a gas and a solid, or vice versa. So sublimation is what happens when a solid changes directly into gas. It does not change from a solid to a liquid and then to a gas, but instead skips over the liquid phase and turns directly from a solid to a gas. And this might seem really confusing at first, but think about dry ice and liquid nitrogen. When you get it out of its container and bring it out to room temperature, because it's at very different temperatures, it's going to start looking like it's smoking. We're seeing that dry ice is changing directly from a solid into gas, and it's going to look like it's smoking doing the process. But on the other end of the spectrum, we have deposition. And this is where a gaseous form of water vapor, changes directly into a solid. Again, it's going to skip that liquid state entirely, and it's going to jump from water vapor to solid ice by releasing heat. And if we lived in a colder area, we would see this every winter. When we have a lot of water vapor in our air and it freezes overnight, that water vapor will change to solid ice on a windshield.